Hey guys, Hitman89 here, I hope you're doing great. Whether you're considering buying a PS5 or a Series X, or you already have one and you're a fanboy who's only here to start a console war in the comments section, you've come to the right place. Cause the question we'll be answering with this video is, 4 years later, PS5 or Series X, which is better? Let's find out. A lot of people say the most important thing to consider when picking a console is what your friends have, so you can play with them. I say fuck them, they probably have shitty taste and only play COD and FIFA anyway, right? So the most important thing is the games. Plus, I have no friends, so it really doesn't matter. This year, on PS5 we had games like Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Helldivers 2, a huge success. We also had Rise of the Ronin, which looks, runs and plays like a PS3 game, so nothing to brag about.
Hey, shut up! Make him shut up! Stop it!
In addition to these games, Xbox games like Sea of Thieves, Grounded, and Hi-Fi Rush landed on PlayStation earlier this year. Another thing to consider is that Black Myth Wukong, just like Baldur's Gate 3 last year, will be delayed on Series X, so yeah, having to wait longer than everyone else to play a game sucks. But at least there are smaller games that are available on Xbox and not yet on PS5, like War Tales, one of my favorite games of 2023. There's also Valheim and Trailhead. When it comes to the bigger games, this year we've had Palworld and Hellblade 2. The best looking game ever, where you just walk straight for 6 hours, with a couple of fights here and there that are basically QTEs in disguise, and sometimes you'll have to solve puzzles just by looking at shit. Thank God the upcoming releases seem more fun to play. The one I'm really excited about is Stalker 2. Avowed is pretty interesting too, even though I'm disappointed they ended up going with a cartoony style instead of the realistic one we saw in the first trailer. Anyway, there's also Indiana Jones, we'll see if it ends up being any good. Now when it comes to the PS5, it's gonna get games like Concord, which is basically some sort of Overwatch, except it's paid, it's not free. And there's also the Silent Hill 2 remake that I'm definitely not excited for anymore after seeing how rough those gameplay clips were. The combat seems to suck dick. So yeah. Now, in the previous years, each console had a couple of good games. For example, the Demon's Souls remake was the very first game I played on PS5 and still my favorite exclusive. I expected God of War Ragnarok to be more jaw-dropping. Horizon Forbidden West looks way better and it's an open world game. So anyway, on Series X we had Halo Infinite, Forza and Starfield. Pretty disappointing.
Hey, I'm bleeding here! Next time you're in Sidonia, hit me up.
They took their time and still released shitty games. It's impressive if you think about it. Now, having the best games is great, but what will you use to play them? Your dick? No, a controller. And in my opinion, the DualSense features make games incredibly more immersive. The haptic feedback and adaptive triggers feel so good that even when I play on PC, if a game supports the DualSense, it's a no-brainer. I use it over the keyboard and mouse. Even though the Series X controller hasn't evolved much, it's basically an Xbox One controller with a shared button on it, it's more ergonomic and comfortable to use, and I feel like it's better for online multiplayer games. But it doesn't come with a rechargeable battery, so you gotta buy AA batteries every now and then. But if you're a cheap fuck like me, you'll probably end up using it wired like 69% of the time. Another thing I really like, cause I'm cheap, is subscription services. For the price of 2 games, you can have PS Plus or Game Pass for a full year. Which one is better though? With PS Plus Extra, for about $130 a year, you get a bunch of older games. I had it for a year, rarely got anything exciting, so I cancelled it. But hold on, there's a higher tier. With PS Plus Premium, for $18 a month, you also get, 2-hour trials?
Brother, what's that?
Sony are cheap fucks, man. Game Pass is where Xbox really shines though. Apart from getting better and more recent games, you also get all the exclusives day one. Only with Game Pass Ultimate though, which now costs $20 a month by the way.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they increased its price for a reason. I don't know about you, but when I buy a new console, it's to play the latest games. Some people though, they seem to care about backwards compatibility, and it's way better on the Series X. You can even insert original Xbox discs in your Series X, and if the game is on the compatibility list, it'll work. Only PS4 games work on the PS5, so keep that in mind. Last but not least, the Series X has a feature called Quick Resume, which allows you to run up to 3 games at once and switch between them at will. And I can already hear some of you saying,
"But Hitman, Xbox doesn't even have 3 good games."
and you'd be right, but I never said the games had to be good. You can switch between up to 3 shitty games. No, but seriously, being able to skip past the intro, main menu, loading screens, and finding yourself right where you stopped is dope. Especially for games that don't let you save whenever you want. You won't get that on PS5, but instead, the console comes with a pre-installed game called Astro's Playroom. It lets you discover all of the DualSense's features. It's a shitty game, but it's free. And on this incredibly deep note, I think it's time to move on to the verdict. Both consoles have a digital version for just $449 and a regular version with a disc drive for $499. In other words, $500. In your case, if you're having a hard time choosing between these two consoles, I'll help you out. If none of these games look interesting to you and you'd rather play the ones on Game Pass, get a Series X. I think it's worth noting that since I've upgraded my PC, I basically stopped playing on the Series X. I only use it now when I have a review to make. So if I had to only keep one console, even if I didn't have a PC, I would keep the PS5 because of its objectively higher quality exclusives. But whether you pick the PS5 or the Series X, I think we can all agree that this console generation has been disappointing, to say the least. 4 years in and we only got a couple of really solid PS5 exclusives, the Series X games have been even worse, with exclusives running at 30 FPS and not even being that good. Plus a lot of multi-platform games either look like they could easily run on an old-gen console, or they're so unoptimized you have to wait 6 months to get a decent experience. Oh, and it seems like the Pro consoles are getting ready to come out by the end of the year, and the question is, for what? We haven't seen anything yet. And that's gonna be it for this comparison video. If you like the format, hit the thumbs up button, and also let me know if you wanna see a PS5 versus PC video or a similar video but with 2 games instead. I read every single comment and I try to reply to everyone, so say hi. Anyway, please subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's been Hitman89. See you guys very soon.
I will not stop, I am prepared to get to the top, yeah, you must be rare. God, I'm like, hey.